Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 9th of July. So, what great goodies have we got in store today? Let's just go to the news system first. I'm going to just look at Forex Factory, just to update this actually, if I give it a quick flick. There wasn't anything yesterday to update. I don't know what I just did that for. Anyway, I've done it now. So really, it's another quiet day relatively. We've got Fed Chair Powell testifying later. Now just it's good actually. I looked at this here actually because the text is out at 1:30. So what he's going to be saying is out an hour, half hour earlier. So just watch out for 1:30. There are a couple of other speakers coming through here this morning, so I think things could get well a bit of a move from those speakers, but I don't expect a great deal from it. Anyway, moving on. Technicals. The euro yesterday. Well, although it shows as a nice green bar there, it was actually a down day. It's relative to from the close on Friday. It actually closed below where it closed on Friday, but anyway, it's a weirdness with these gaps, and it gapped down yesterday. It filled the gap, and it closed higher than where it filled. But just looking here, sorry, I'll just realise I've got that on a 4-hourly chart as well. Let's put that's better. So from a 4-hourly picture, it's still pretty much in a bit of an upward trendish sort of pattern here, but when you look at what happened yesterday, it was a lot of nothing, all air, and it sort of tried pushing up there in the afternoon, didn't really come to anything at all, and well, all in all, it was a flattish day, and goodness knows, it's just waiting for the kicker. There's not a lot to give anything much of a kick at the moment, but it feels like we need some sort of kick. The pound, on the other hand, it did break in, and well, even that closed lower than it opened, so effectively it should have been a red bar there, but because of the gap, it shows positively. Not doing a great deal at the moment. It's sort of that in-betweeny where you feel like it's structurally looking like it, where if it breaks the lows here, it's on for the downside towards the S1, but post 8 o'clock it can get back above the pivot, well, back towards yesterday's highs, maybe further. But the pivots, if you notice how pinched they are lately, really tight. Okay, yesterday's pivots were just to get its reaction. It did roll over eventually in the afternoon there. It sort of went properly. Actually, it went a bit earlier in the morning there. I missed that 11 o'clock move, but did start coming off there. Now, unfortunately, if you probably put the stop just above the prior highs here and taken it, you'd have been quite nicely in the money for a while, only to get stopped out in the current movement. So the idea I had there wasn't to be yesterday, and it's got quite odd as it was sitting here. It has put a slightly higher low in now, so again structurally we could be changing back to the weakness of the yen coming through there. It's not the clearest of where we're sitting. Aussie dollar, now this looked more positive yesterday morning. Again, ended up effectively a down day yesterday. Quite a slow old mess, as you can see. I was looking at another Aussie pairing, and it's quite a mess there. Nothing to be done with that at the moment. It's consolidating. It's consolidating near the highs, which could suggest it's got further upside. But you're going to see with this US dollar CAD, it too is consolidating. Look on the 4-hourlies since. Actually, it's not the 4-hourly. Let's get the 4-hourly as well. There we go. Since this beginning of this week, it's barely gone anywhere. I was looking to see if this was going to break down, but well, it continues in this range here. Very difficult. And it's the wrong type of range. The range is away from the lows. If it was right at the bottom, well, I'd be a bit more positive with it. I'm not particularly liking this as it sits. New Zealand dollar. When it eventually switches, that'll be good. So New Zealand dollar, it flicks me back to the Canadian. I think it's the software I'm using here. It flicks some reason. New Zealand dollar, there you go. It just decides to run back on its own. New Zealand dollar, it's the way it's come back to the underside of its monthly pivot here, and yesterday it did actually put a genuine down that red bar in there. Goodness. I was wondering now I am wondering now if this is going to roll over further. It's got the lower highs coming through here, looking soft, still untouched daily pivot or S1. Now it's just bounced back. So either someone has a great fun at my expense at this stage when I'm trying to record this. Anyway, lower highs coming through here. So the New Zealand dollar looking soft. For sure, but it could be it's a bit of an each way bet in some respects, although yes, I like the short side, but the untouched daily pivot, although saying that, is probably touched on elsewhere. Okay, it's flicked back again. US dollar Swissy, see if we can get this to hold still for a moment. So the Swissies, okay, came back to the monthly pivot here and catching a bit of a bounce back towards its 4-hourly pivot here, and looking like it. I like the idea of it potentially rolling back further, but it has just, with what's gone on here, broke the trend line slightly. The key direction was certainly for quite some time here was to the upside. Now it's more recently been running back to the upside, but it's battling. The Swiss National Bank would certainly like to see this run to the upside, but the weakness of the dollar really is kicking things in most of the time. But I'm just watching the dollar's weak, strong against the euro and the pound here, but falling against the yen in this current hour. Odd. Okay, structurally a bit weird. Okay, not a lot else there. A lot of these cross pairs, I'll look through them in the trading room in a short while, but there's not a lot to go at. The other markets, gold. Just look at this from a daily point of view. Gave back its gains yesterday that it went on Friday. In the end, again, could easily just get into a bit of a chop. Is another one that's just sort of come to the underside of its weekly pivot, looking soft from this point for sure. As it's sitting there, it's ranging. It's back into prior highs. It does look on the softer side. Would I trade it? Not really. It's just ugly where it sits at the moment. Oil come off yesterday. Again here we're below the weekly pivot. It's not far away. Pivots are so tight here, yet last week's price action was so little, so tight. Short term, well, it's a right pig's ear of action here yesterday afternoon there. Still not back into this, trading it at the moment. I've been watching it quite a few times. It looks almost like it's got potential, but it's moved away from my intraday trades that I've been enjoying for God knows how long on it, and it looks like really it's only turning to a swing potential. And for a short swing, it's moving the wrong way, or has moved the wrong way. Hasn't really set anything up for me yet. Equity markets, S&Ps, well, yesterday made yet another new high for the year, and you watch this across the board here. Nasdaq similarly, the one that's dragging its heels is the Dow. Just shows you the constituents, and just not following completely the same hymn sheet there. Moving close to home, the DAX is also struggling more. I think if you've got an index full of techs, the big techs are really driving things at the moment. Realistically, German here looking soft, already moving down there. It did turn around quite quickly yesterday, didn't it? It ended up going completely, what was looking quite bearish, rallied. FTSE, this too, never even got down to its S1 there. 8 o'clock came, it just never looks back for a while, until it did. Okay, again, this is okay. 8 o'clock's just coming in here. It looks soft this morning. Look at that price action at the moment, moving quite quickly. Again, I would look at that and think, well, that's okay for its S1, but it's better now because it's already hit the pivot. But it's early doors here. I tend to give all these markets a bit of time before looking to trade them, but this will probably hit this S1 quite quickly, almost as we're watching it. Anyway, I shall leave it there. I wish you a good day's trading. I think it could be a bit picky today. This is how it goes sometimes, quite often recently, but you've got to pick them and be picky. That's how we keep our money. Right, take care. Catch you later.